the Washington Mixers are coming off a year where they were arguably the most dangerous lottery team, most competitive lottery team, in my opinion, in my eyes. But they used their magic to draft a pretty good draft class. But I mean, Loss, I would have thought would have been their point guard for the future. I mean, still is, but George A. Moore suffered ACL injury first day of practice, so definitely
Hello.
a blow of sorts. Yes, I want to say a total loss, but definitely a blow for the team with the young core. Uh, Impressive draft by them. Many are saying that they won the draft. When I say many, I mean the two that are on your screen right now. Um, so yeah, we think that they killed it in this draft, drafting George A. Moore, Sonia Citron, Kiki Ariafen, Lucy Olson, Zay Green. Um, Really filling in the pieces to their rosters that they were missing. Heading into the season, they didn't really have a for sure starting lineup. Once they only had how many roster spots do they have on? Like, how many players do they have on the roster heading into the draft? Like
Like 7 or 8.
seven, eight. Yeah, and with their first round draft picks, they were able to fill in those gaps for the time being. Um, I really like the pick of Sonia Citron, especially that she went as high as she did because I often thought she was an overlooked player at Notre Dame. And just seeing the way she impacted that team, I know she's going to be able to bring the same impact towards this team, if not a greater impact towards this team, because she has I can see her having an increased role or playing a similar ish role on this team, but also being like kind of an increased role as well in terms of options. Um, but I mean, same time, this team did suffer a great bit of a loss in the offseason. Um, Elena Delle Donne officially retired. Ariel Atkins is now is Chicago.
Sky.
Yeah, it's now Chicago. Mike and Eric T-Bolt stepped away from the team. They got new general manager, new coach, and with that, obviously brings new identity towards the team. Um, I'm excited for another year. Brittany Sykes on the squad. Brittany Sykes has been a hell of a player. Um, she, what am I getting at here? I mean, she's greatly just shown improvement year after year, and has been one of the better two-way players in the league, if not the best two-way player in the league, at least at the guard position. Um, so yeah, definitely excited to see her play this year. Another year, Shakira Austin, who's been great. Another year, Leah Edwards, who's been developing as well. That young front court core is developing. Really, just looking forward to seeing hopefully a healthy season from Shakira. Who has been battling injuries since she's entered the league. Um, Seeing how Aaliyah has developed, seeing how Unrivaled has paid off for her, and yeah, I mean, this is like I could see this team improving from where they were last year, but still like not there quite yet. Like they made some great leaps with what they did this offseason, starting with the draft. Um, did I mention Lucio? I don't think I mentioned Lucy Olsen either.
You
Um,
do.
okay, but yeah, really just excited for this young group more than anything. Um, and of course, they got the vets on the squad as well. But my outlook for this team is just a slightly improved version of what they were last year. You know, like they competed hard every game. They had good moments, but ultimately just wasn't at the skill level or talent level as their competitors, and why they fell short many of the times that they did. And a lot of that I just I feel could be lack of experience too. Well, no, last year's team they had a great amount of experience, but as far as this year's team goes, their lack of experience might be a detriment to them when facing other teams. Um, See, I want to say they'll be bottom of the barrel, but I feel like they'll still be a lottery team at the end of this season. What are your thoughts? What is your outlook for the Washington Mystics this year?
Um, a lot of the same. For me, I just feel like with a new coach, new GM, you wanna bring in players that fit what you want, and you want to empower those players. You want to make sure that those players progress to the best ability. Um, so I feel like their outlook should be just really the main focus should be rebuilding, progressing, helping Aaliyah Edwards, Sonya Citrone, Kiki, Kiki Irioff, and Lucy Olsen, Zay Green, if she is somebody that makes the team, helping them progress. Shakira Austin as well. Um, Once they traded Ariel Atkins, um, it was clear what direction they were going in. Elena Deladon retired. I believe, has moved into a front office position of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what the job is. They still have they signed Emily Inksler and Chuck Sutton to training camp deals, which are two players that are not vets but feel like they are. Like they haven't been in for the WNBA that long, but they play a role on each team they've been on, and
Yeah,
they
Inkster
do
got
really well
drafted
in
when
those
in
roles.
2021.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember her. I
And then I
remember
want
her
to say
being at
Sutton
Louisville.
Suge was 22.
Yeah,
Um, but um, again, and then Brittany Sykes, Stephanie Dolson. I think that's a huge strength of having just specifically those two as vets.
hmm
Brittany Sykes is a great player, great person off the court. To have around young players, Stephanie Dolson is as well. Stephanie Dolson is ever since she was at UConn has always had um, just an infectious personality when it comes to her teammates, media, fans, coaches, everything. So I think it only helps to have those two players on the team. I think their biggest strength is post play, obviously, like having Shakira Austin, Stephanie Dolson, Aaliyah Edwards, Kiki Iriafen, or Iriafen, sorry. Um, Having four players of that caliber in your front court is pretty pretty damn good. I'll say that. Aaliyah Edwards is out with an injury right now, with a back injury, so hopefully she'll be able to return before the season starts, or if not, then right before or right after the season starts. I will say we don't know the severity of Georgia Amore's injury yet. It could be a sprain. We don't fully know. Hopefully, it's on the smaller side of injuries.
yeah.
But I will say they still have Jade Melbourne, who
hmm
I am pretty high on as a point guard in this league. I think she can be really good. I think um, she came into the league really young and has been able to play. Hasn't always been able to play through mistakes, but I think last year she got more chance, more opportunity to due to injuries to players like Brittany Sykes, um, and I think she could be a key piece for them in the future. We have seen players like Ash Proctor get picked up on the training camp deal. Kadisha Cave, Morgan Jones, JoJo Lacey. Um, so we don't know exactly what the roster will look like. Again, like you said with the other teams, but um, for what they have currently, I don't think this is a really bad roster at all. I think um, if Georgia Moore's if Georgia is forced to miss time, then I think that opens the door for Lucy Olsen. I did see that they would just lose. They wouldn't lose the roster spot, but they can't use that roster spot. So like if she stays on the team, she would just be a 12th player, basically how Liz Kitley was last year for the Aces. Like
Oh, gotcha.
you, she would just
And like
be
Naira South the year
injured on
before.
your roster, right? So um, that doesn't help them, but I feel like you got to make do with what you got. Um, I'm pretty pretty confident in Lucy Olson making the team. I think
Hmm.
um, you know having a guard that can shoot and defend like that, and score and play make at the same time. So um, I would say their weaknesses are health, specifically Shakira Austin, unfortunately. And then even now we've seen Amore go down. We've seen Lee Edwards go down. So um, health has been an issue for them the last couple of years. Even before that, I mean, since the 2019 champion, or was it 2018? No, 2019 championship. Deladon has battled with injuries, and they really were never able to get back to that point. So Um, and then another weakness is like the unknown. We don't really know what this team is going to look like. We don't know what the starting lineup is going to look like. When you have, like, it is a great thing to have as many post players as you do, but when they play similarly, it's hard to put them on the court at the same time. So, um, I am curious to see how the season starts out because, you know, um, you drafted Aaliyah pretty high last year. You drafted Kiki high this year. So, and then you drafted Shakira Austin a couple years ago, and obviously that was a different GM and different head coach that made that decision because they chose to drop back and draft her instead of Ryan Howard. So um, I'm curious to see what the organization feels about Shakira Austin, especially at this point of a few years into her career where a lot of injuries have hampered it. But when she's been on the court, she's been really good. So hopefully she can stay healthy this season and show the progression that she's made over the last year. Um, and if she's able to do that, I think that puts the Mystics in a different position as far as right now and in the future.
What's I call it? Could you see this team making any drastic changes? Um, I guess maybe to compete a little sooner. 'Cause I feel
Um,
like they're like almost there, but it's like if they, I mean, maybe they could bring in another piece to get them over the hump, but I don't see why you would do that with the young core instead of just building that up. Um, I don't know, it's just a thought.
yeah, I think they just keep building. Again, with the CBA, I think everyone's going to try to go out and get a few players that typically you wouldn't be able to get in a free agency period. Um, but I feel like there's still like while there are players that they feel have high potential and we feel have high potential, it still has to happen on the court. We have to see what their plan is and what the rotation looks like, what minutes look like, and things like that before um, we feel like they're close to doing something specific. Just because for some of these teams, we know what the rotation will look like, or we at least know, um, the focal point of their offense, the focal point of what they're going to do defensively. With a new coach and new GM, we don't really know um, what that's going to look like for a team like them. Now, on paper, this is a team that has a good bit of talent, and again, I think if you did add one or two different players, then maybe this team looks a little bit different. But it would still depend on who that player was or who those players were, and what role they play and what role the players that are already here would start to play.
No, I feel that. Yeah, I think they should just really just need to just keep building. Trying to think if there's any other points that we had or have. Um, I don't think I have anything else. Do you have anything else?
Um, I am curious to see if Brittany Sykes is of somebody, and even Stephanie Wilson is somebody that stays on the team. I think people had thought that Stephanie Wilson might get moved last season,
Mm-hmm.
um, and never did, and that could happen again this year. Same with Brittany Sykes; they could both stay on the team and just be the vets. Um, but I feel like especially Brittany Sykes. Brittany Sykes is a player that I'm sure a lot of teams value, especially when you get closer to playoff time and you know what your roster is and you know exactly what you're missing. And maybe one player or one specific kind of player can get you over the hump. Brittany Sykes answers a lot of questions, I feel like, at the guard spot defensively, being able to make plays offensively as well. So that's something I'm looking at as seeing if there's if she gets moved at all or if she stays. And then for Washington and for the organization is by the end of the season, you want to try to figure out who your surefire building blocks are. Is it Kiki, Sonia, Georgia, Jade, Aaliyah? Is it Shakira? Like, is it all of them in a bundle? Um, and then I would assume that they also are in the lottery again. Maybe they're one pick out. Um, but there's potentially a chance they get the number one pick. So if they do that, then where do they go? Because the projected number one pick right now is Lauren Betts. They don't really need another post player, but in the W, post players are a good bit of times what wins championships. So um, that's where Shakira Austin's health and her availability comes into question and comes into the forefront of all right, what this season looks like is going to be how we base off what we do in the offseason.
Yeah,
And I'm looking forward to see what players step up and take that challenge and say like I'm here to stay. I'm a building block. Like I'm a player that you need to have on your team, or I'm a player that you feel brings great value to your team. Um, that's what I'm looking for from the Mystics this year.
yeah. When I look at this group, I see a lot of players that have that hunger in them, or got something to prove. I would say. You got Emily Angster who hasn't had a for sure home in the W yet. You know, we've seen it on a couple teams or seen it with the Mystics a couple times actually. Um, so definitely looking to see how certain players perform. Sucks on another one who had flashes in Phoenix, getting a chance here now in Washington. Um, so it should be some good basketball out of this team. It just talent isn't at the level of the contenders, but I mean the potential is there with this group. So
Yeah,
definitely looking forward to seeing the potential for this team. The sky is definitely the limit for them. But as of now, I still see them as a lottery team.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. But anything else going on, or not anything else going on? What was I about to say? That's not what I want to say. Regardless of what goes on with this team this season, we'll be here covering it on Most Play Media YouTube channel and on the through the Hoodie and the Headband podcast show.
Appreciate y'all.